Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good evening to our panelists and viewers. My name is Nadia Binti Mohammad Nizam. I am from IPG Campus Dato Razali Ismail and I will be the moderator for today's forum session. As we all know, pandemic COVID-19 is a current major issue which allows you to consider the themes that we have highlighted, and we are attempting to address the problems together by sharing helpful and interesting ideas and thoughts, which will be presented by our special guest. Today, we like to focus on a topic that we think is worth discussing, which is the issues and challenges of using technology for teaching and learning. I am confident that every of us has their own thoughts and opinions for this subject. Before we begin our discussion today, I'd like to introduce our first panelist, which is Miss Amirah Izati from Universiti Teknologi Tapah. Hello, Miss Amirah. How are you today? Can you tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself before we begin our discussion?
I'm well and happy to be here today. Assalamualaikum and good day to all of us. My name is Amirah Izati Binti Sani. I am accounting student from UIT Perak Campus Tapah.
Thank you so much, Miss Amirah Izati. Next is our second panelist, which is Mr. Afham from IPG Campus Dato Razali Ismail. Mr. Afham, thank you for coming to our forum today. How are you doing today? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself before we start our forum?
Thank you to the moderator, Miss Amni Nadia. So, Assalamualaikum and good day to all the audience, moderator, and also my fellow guests today or panelists today. So, like my moderator said, my name is Mohammad Afham Adwa bin Johari, and I am from IPG Institut Pendidikan Guru, Kampus Dato Razali Ismail. So same like the moderator, we are actually from the same institute. So it's really great to be here today, and I am looking forward for today's forum. I'm really looking forward for today's forum. So that's all from me. Actually, back to the moderator.
Thank you so much, Mr. Afham. Let me clarify our topic before we begin our forum in depth. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world in 2020, schools were shuttered and kids' education was relocated to their homes. As a result, several countries confronted the issue of an unexpected and rapid shift to online learning. This is an important time to think about technology, pedagogy, and education. When it came to teaching students from distance, digital technology played an important role. It allowed educators to communicate with students synchronous and asynchronously, get access to learning resources, and do interactive and collaborative activities. The increasing use of technology, particularly in the sphere of education, gives students and teachers an alternative in conducting teaching and learning process. However, there are several issues that users must consider in order to avoid unintended consequences when using technology. Ms. Amirah, can you share with us some of the issues related to the use of technology?
Thank you so much, Miss Amni. This pandemic triggered school closure, affecting about 94% of all pupils globally. Technology is being utilized in the field of education all around the world to guarantee that kids receive the education they require for the future. When addressing issues concerning the uses of technology, one issue that's come to mind is the cybersecurity law. Cyber law is a branch of law associated with the widespread use of the internet that encompasses both technological and electrical aspects. This law was initially enacted to regulate any misbehavior, as the risk associated with utilizing the internet line on a regular basis are quite high. To prevent cybercrime from growing in Malaysia, the Malaysian government has established 5 particular cyber laws. The Communication and Multimedia Act of 1998, the Computer Crime Act of 1997, the Copyright Act of 1987, the Electronic Commerce Act of 2006, and the Personal Data Protection Act of 2010 are among them. Cybercrime is a type of criminal conduct that involves the use of any type of electronic device via an internet service connection, allowing criminal conduct to be committed whether it involves an individual or a group of people, as well as the ability to cross border from one country to another is in a short time period and with no limitation. Cybercrime result in the loss or damage of equipment, data, and information involving a software or processing computer, whether through a virus attack, intrusion, unauthorized entry and uses, or theft of information against a computer or electronic device designated to a target. There are several types of cybercrime that occur in Malaysia, including hacking, phishing, illicit money transfer, and online fraud. That's all I have to say. I will turn it over to our moderator, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amirah, for providing such useful knowledge about the issue related to the usage of technology. Before we continue to our next panelist, let me add one more point about issues related to the use of technology. One other thing to consider when it comes to technology use is the ethical aspect, which is referred to as online ethics. Blogs, microblogging, and wikis are just a few of the numerous kind of social media technologies that may be used by the public to show photographs or image as well as video clips and social bookmarks. These online ethical issues may lead to negative outcomes if users fail to take them into consideration. This online ethics is critical for society to take into account. For example, ethics in writing is required while writing online to avoid undesirable outcomes such as plagiarism, spreading fake news, defamation, and so on. In addition, the authenticity and accuracy, creativity, credit, conflicts of interest, and ethical treatments of humans and other living things should be taken into account while posting anything online. Next, let's us move to our second panelist for today. So, Mr. Afham, can you share with us the challenges of using technology for teaching and learning session?
So thank you to Miss Amni for that question, and also it's kind of my turn to give my opinion. So back to the questions that have been given. What is the challenge that both teachers and students will face when using technology for teaching and also learning sessions? So using technology for this kind of thing, which is teaching and learning session or for education, actually is a great way to improve students' quality and also improve the session quality by any session, which is learning and also teaching quality, especially during our current environment, also our current situation of the spread of global pandemic coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. So let's continue. By the far, the greatest factor limiting the efforts of teachers and administrators to provide education technology to students, which is, on my opinion, which is budget cut, also known as budget. So budget cuts and limitation are actually a major hurdles that proponents of education's technology must overcome in order to successfully introduce tech into their classrooms. So according to my research, but according to a recent study even demonstrated that 75.9% from 100% of respondents saw budget restriction as the biggest challenge that prevented them from embracing education technology. So budget limitations are especially challenging to overcome, even when it comes to the governments, because great education tech tools don't come cheap. Especially you can see nowadays on the market, the great one, the education tech actually not, and actually not many under like 1,000 ringgit. So there's also this app also include education apps. Yes, some of you might thought that education app like you can use for education, which is Google Meet, Zoom, are actually free. Yes, it's free to use, but all of this app that I just said actually require a certain requirement, also minimal requirements in order to use them. For example, like the gig RAM of the devices. For example, in Zoom or also Google Meet, they actually require a device that at least have 2 gig RAM, also more gig RAM, in order to use them correctly. So if actually below the 2 gig RAM minimum limit, actually yes, they can use the app. However, certain functions can be used due to the limited also the device actually can meet the requirement, the minimum requirement, in order to use all the function in the program, in the app. So finding the funds to implement and sustain technology in the classroom actually can be a major, also huge barriers to its adoption. In cash-strapped school, they also include government school and also swasta school. So as I that's really all my opinion, which is the first challenge, which is limitation budget. So let's continue to the second point for the question that I will answer. So the next point, which is a poor network infrastructure. Everyone know about Malaysian government program known as a student a laptop. This program with Form 4 and 5 students from B40 families or under government schemes for low-income families. So the students that are in this group are invited to apply for free laptops under the tree of International District 3300 Malaysia. But simply handing to students a box of laptops or notebook won't actually bring any beneficial effect for them if the school doesn't have the network infrastructures, a great network infrastructures. It needs to support all the devices and the activity that they use for the program, which is education and learning. So a strong network infrastructure requires fast, high quality Wi-Fi at school and at home as well as data privacy and security. So access to digital resources and much more. So designing, building and supporting a strong network infrastructure must be done with a great amount of care and thorough, as it is necessary for the effective and responsible continued use of technology in education. So actually my third point actually like Timothy. So my third point actually is involve more to the teachers than the students. So lack of professional trainings to the teachers. So as we progress every day in this era, which is a modern era, they actually, yes, you can see after a certain amount of time, you actually can see that a new tool, a new education tool, actually being produced, also being made in order to help to give new experience and also too easy to make a teaching and learning session much more easier. But teacher, as the technology become more advanced, teacher also needs to be able to not only how to get the most out of each new tool themselves, but they also need to know how to train their students in its use. So basically thinking like, so the main cornerstone, which is providing classroom with a new shiny education tools that neither the teachers and students can use, is unlikely make an positive impacts to their entire educational experience. Instead, they might actually giving a negative impact. For example, like, I don't understand anything, or like they lost their focus in class because of delay where teacher need to set up the new tech because the teacher not actually know how to operate it really correctly. So this is actually like so as I said, that actually really a great disadvantage. So it also requires an already busy teachers to actually to take time to teach themselves on how to use a new education tools, which actually can lead the teacher into frustrations, and also this actually a time consuming. Although professionally trained teachers, faculty and staff may require, like I said, that although a professionally training teachers, staff and faculty, although they actually a professional trained figure, they also may require times and money. So it's necessary, so students are expected to get the desired effect out of their technological experience.
Thank you, Mr. Afham, for sharing the challenges of using technology in teaching and learning process. Ms. Amirah, before we wrap up our today's discussion, I have to ask you a question related to students' mental health. As we all know, students' mental health has been a huge topic lately. How can we maintain the mental health of students during this pandemic?
Thank you for your thoughtful question, Ms. Amni. The COVID-19 outbreak has had a significant impact on our life. During the COVID-19 crisis, it is common to experience stress, anxiety, sadness, and worries. Here are some ways for maintaining our mental health during this difficult time. First, maintain your physical fitness. I will give 5 simple tips for fitness success. Exercise daily. Exercise daily for at least an hour. Eat the right food and portion each meal. No matter how bad your stomach is telling you to go for candy over healthy food, try to stay away from sweet. Keep track of calories and food intake per day. Be sure to get sleep and stay motivated. Second, seek expert assistance if necessary. Seeking mental health service is important because a professional therapist is best suited for evaluating your symptoms and determining the severity of your condition. This understanding is crucial for planning recommended treatments and therapies that can allow you to live a happy, fulfilling life. Third, take a social media break. Step on how to take a social media break. Turn off push notifications from social apps on your mobile. Stop posting using social media apps. Delete social media apps. Use the browser Chrome or Safari for access instead. Log out of all your social accounts even on the browser. Number 4. Discover new ways to communicate with friends. Communication strategies for family and friends. Maintain eye contact, get their attention, stick topic, Speak slowly and clearly. Be mindful of your setting. Ask the right question and rephrase when they don't hear you.
Thank you to all of our panelists today for sharing the knowledge about the issues and challenges in using technology for education, and also some advice on how to maintain our mental health. Before we end our forum session, I want to remind everyone that we must not overlook the advantages of modern technology too. Among the benefits of technology in the field of education are the ability to simply and quickly locate material that can only be accessible through a computer, as well as the computer's abilities to gather and store information effectively so that the information remains permanent. That's all for now, but before we end our forum today, if any of the viewers have any question about our topic today, please leave them in the comment areas below. We will do our best to address your question. All panelists and viewers are sincerely thanked for participating in our forum discussion. Thank you very much and Assalamualaikum.